This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about the main event of the evening. It's announced as being for the World Wrestling Federation's championship, which is a little different than they normally announce it. But Diesel comes out, and unlike the past few months, he's coming into the arena with totally wet hair. It's partially pinned behind his head, and there's even a braided strand in the back. This is a deep into the weeds sort of note here, but it is a period where Diesel is about to go from a clean cut baby face to more of a tweener who's going to high five people wearing gloves only and displays more heel tendencies. It feels like, this is a very subtle thing, but when you look back and at the story you're trying to tell, there's definitely a change here because you're trying to turn him a little bit, huh?
Well, give him an edge, and the stereotypical babyface stuff of smiling all the time was not working with him. What the audience liked to even make it turn Diesel babyface was that he had an edge to him. And I think that we took that edge away with the babyface run. And this was an attempt to get back to the edge that I think really worked for Diesel.
Let's keep it going here. I do want to mention that, Perfect says on commentary, it's hard for him to watch this match for the world title because it's something that eluded him for years. We know eventually he's going to get back in the ring. Were you totally convinced that he was really done? I mean, I know he made that comment in character, but it is interesting to think, hey man, does that mean maybe he's going to try to come back? And we know he does for WCW. But here in late 95, were you convinced, no, he's really done? Or did you think he was just sort of wink, wink, Lloyd's of London done?
I think that there are talent that really want to be done. And then there are talent that have to be done, and they try to convince themselves that they want to be done. I believe at this time, Kurt probably needed to be done, but he didn't want to be. So there are guys that will always, Kurt Hennig was a thoroughbred, and any thoroughbred, they want to run from the moment they come out until the moment they die. They always just want to run. That's what they do. They're a thoroughbred. And when you had to put a saddle on that thoroughbred and calm him down and say, okay, you can't run anymore, I think a little bit inside of him dies. And I think that Kurt never was satisfied or content or accepting of being done.
Let's get to the main event. Bret Hart is going to beat Diesel here in 24 minutes and 54 seconds to win the championship and become the WWF champion. When they start, both men uncover one turnbuckle. Meltzer would say that Diesel dominated the first 7.5 minutes, just destroying Bret. Bret starts to make a comeback, working on Diesel's knee and uses the figure 4, but eventually Diesel makes the ropes. Whenever he goes for a sharpshooter, Diesel kicks him into one of those turnbuckles that's been exposed, but he comes back and he's trying to post Diesel's knee a few times. They're really telling a fun story here. There's a fun moment in the match where Diesel drops Bret across the top rope. It's the old Vinny Vegas snake eyes, and Jim Ross even calls it snake eyes, little WCW throwback. But there is an interesting spot here that really stands out, especially in 95. People still talk about it to this day. Bret's going to miss a plancha and start selling his own knee. And while on the apron, Diesel's going to shoulder block Bret off the apron, and he's going to fly through the table that the Spanish announcers are sitting at. And this is a major moment because I think it might be one of, if not the first time we destroyed the Spanish announce table, but what a spectacular looking bump it was. And this is sort of in the era where Sabu had become world famous for breaking tables, but it didn't happen a lot here in the WWF. But we're not done with the match. Of course, Diesel's going to pick up the Devastated Bret, throw him in the ring, let everybody know he's setting up a jackknife. He stalls for a second, and with the idea that he's asking the referee to stop it rather than have to jackknife him. And the ref says no. So as he goes to do the move, what do you know? Bret small packages him and beats him. And because Diesel's pissed off now that he's just lost his belt and he felt like he was trying to show a little mercy and it backfired, he jackknifes Bret not once, but twice after the bell and beats up several referees. Meltzer gave it 3.5 stars, which tied one other match. And the first match he actually liked better, but this is such a memorable match. And I thought it was one of Diesel's best matches he ever had. I would rate it higher than that. I love this match. What'd you think watching it back for the first time in 25 years?
87 stars, 309 in the Tokyo Dome.
It's a great show, dude.
It was, yeah, I thought that this match capped off the show perfectly. It was such a beautiful story. And this was a great example of Bret Hart and the thought that Bret used to put into matches to make everything different and unique. The table spot was a Bret call, and that was something that Bret really wanted to do. And both guys were made. There wasn't a loser in this match. And it was real, it was believable, and flawlessly executed. So I thought, again, like I said in the very beginning, this was Diesel's best match to date, and both guys performed above and beyond. Thought it was tremendous.
A lot of fun stuff to unpack on this show. I feel like we should start with the Spanish announce table. I think this is the first time that happened. I know there was a table spot on Saturday night's main event, like back in '88 with Harley and Hogan, but the table didn't break and it wasn't the Spanish announce table. But this sort of became tongue in cheek. It was like an inside joke. Oh, they're going to bust up the Spanish announce table. I think this is the first time. Is that a Bret spot? Would Bret have been the one who wanted to do it?
100%. Yep. All Bret.
And it's not like you can walk through that one. You just got to know, hey, hit it right here and don't hurt yourself. See you later. Right.
Be a pro, and you take what's coming to you.
I actually like the look here. Did you prefer the tables with the black tablecloth over it, or the more common style where it looks like, set pieces?
No, I like the evolution of the set. I think it looks much classier, much better. And when you go back and you watch it, kind of cringe at the crudeness of what we had at the time.
I don't mean as far as television presentation. 100%. I prefer that. I meant the table break spot.
Oh yeah. It was the first time. So
right.
I thought it was cool as shit.
I loved it. I think if you're looking for a match to watch this week, that would be the one that I would recommend. I even like the subtlety with the Diesel character where he's trying to play good guy. He wants the ref to stop it so he doesn't have to unnecessarily jackknife Bret, another baby face. When it backfires, he flips the hell out. He says, "I'm back," but somehow the director and the commentators miss it. But I like the idea that he's showing a little sympathy and it backfires on him. It's a great moment in the match.
It really was. And it made it real. It made it feel real and different.
We should note Bret becomes only the second ever 3-time WWE champion. It's him and Hulk Hogan. And this is before the belt changed hands nearly as much as it would just a few years later. This is a big accomplishment when you think about in the history of the company. There's only been 2 guys to hold this belt 3 times, not Bruno, not Andre, Hogan and Bret. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, well, that was then.
There's an interesting spot here where Diesel uses the padded chair to hit Bret on the back. It's unusual to see a padded chair used, but the hard thud combined with Bret selling, I thought it worked.
It did. It was different. And I think that it's also what we had to work with at the time.
I liked the story they were telling with trying to, chop him down. He's using the mic cable to tie up Diesel's leg. He's trying to post the knee. It really is a great story. Can't recommend it enough. I think, Bret would be noted here by JR as having 41 pay-per-view appearances. These days, that doesn't sound like a lot, but boy, in '95, that had to sound like an astronomical number. When it came to the readers of the Observer, they thought the Bret Hart Diesel match was the very best match. They thought the Underdog versus Body Donnas was second. And Meltzer would write this of the main event: the WWF title change meant the group's top position was no longer in the hands of one of the Clique, although only time will tell if it is temporary or not. The show also left a question in fans' eyes regarding Diesel, who strongly teased a heel turn by giving Hart 2 jackknives after the match was over and attacking several referees. Diesel appeared to have been booed by 65 to 70% of the fans after the match, and the announcers McMahon and Ross played it up as if it was a turn. The new character and new attitude of the promotion was set up by Diesel's mouthing motherfucker when he lost the title. So it appears they believe the ECW approach, or at least the toned down version, is now the most marketable approach in this country, which is funny on a lot of levels.
That was Dave Meltzer's comment?
Yes, sir.
Idiot.
Well, let's talk about motherfucker. I did save it because
that's something that Diesel said, and was not told to say that. And that's something that was caught on camera and just lived, but it was not, was not told to do that. That was not planned.
Well, he is selling it. It comes off as real. Is there any pushback when you're on pay-per-view like this? Obviously, if it's on TV, we could have upset sponsors and whatnot. Milton Bradley don't give a shit about this though, do they?
Yeah, not to my knowledge. Again, it's not ideal. It's not something that we would have endorsed.
Well, listen, I thought the match was well done. The story was even better, but I do want to ask, because we're not too terribly removed from him being out of here. He's going to leave, as is, Razor. They're both going to show up in 6 months for the competition. With all the unhappiness that we heard about earlier from guys like Bob Holly and all those folks, did you get the impression that the Clique was I mean, I know that's weird to say that the Clique was happy, because apparently they were never happy, but did you have any inclination by this point, hey, we might be losing Razor because he wants more dates, or he wants to go to Japan, or Diesel is frustrated with the way the creative's going, or his paydays, or what we've asked of him? Did you have any inclination here that they were interested in leaving?
Well, I think everybody knew. I think everybody was not necessarily happy with their paydays and looking for more. So that it's not like that was a secret. And, we're trying to do what we can to alleviate that, but it wasn't, anything that was extraordinary.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.